Coming to you from sunny Orlando, Florida, welcome to the Paperstac podcast, where we cover current topics in the note industry, give you tactics for your note business, and talk with industry leaders to make you a better note investor. And now, your hosts, Brett Burky and Rick Allen.
All right, Rick and Brett back here for the Snackable. We are bringing Snackables back, and we're keeping them snackable. So we're going to try to keep them around to 3 to 4 minutes or less on what we've got going on. We were told they were getting too lengthy, too windy, much like this intro. So, Brett, what do you have for us today?
All right, so what we're going to get into is what are the 5 most important things you need to know if you're going through a foreclosure for taking back a property, taking back a note.
Sure.
5 things, break it down from order of importance first.
First of all is know the state you're in, right?
Why?
Because you want to know if you're going to go with judicial versus non-judicial. It's going to tell you a lot about the process, how long it's going to take, what's your cost, right?
Got it.
So that's second thing. That's first thing. Second thing you want to know is the value. You want to know what's the value of your asset, because that's going to dictate, look, where am I in this asset? Am I going to have the ability to go in there, foreclose, and get out of it on the other side and still make a profit? Or do I need to start looking at something different, a different exit strategy? Or if I do foreclose, am I going to sell it right away and make a profit? Or am I going to have to turn it into a rental or turn it back into a note? All these things are super important. So you want to know what's the value.
Okay.
The third thing you want to do is you want to know, like, what's the title look like? Like title report.
In what sense?
You want to know, like, hey, is there a second lien in there? I mean, you'll probably know that if you have it, but you want to know, is there a second lien? Who has the second lien? Are there additional items below it, or other lien positions? Maybe there was a mechanic's lien or something like that in there that you're going to have to foreclose out. Because that's going to give you an idea of whether or not you can go ahead and run a deed in lieu of foreclosure or a consent judgment, or I have to go negotiate with a second. So all those things are important with title because you want to know what's behind you. If you're a first position lien and you're in a judicial state that typically takes 2 years to foreclose, and you know that there's nobody else behind you in line, then it's like, look, it's going to cost me 15 to 18 grand to foreclose on this thing.
Jesus.
Do I want to wait 24 months and fight the borrower the whole way, have them file bankruptcy, turn into 2 to 4 years? Or do I want to write them a check for 10 grand and get the house back right now? And I can have it back in 2 weeks.
Interesting.
That's why title's important. The fourth thing is your attorney. Listen, an attorney makes all the difference in the world. There's good attorneys, there's bad attorneys, just like anything. There's some attorneys who are going to be there's these rules whenever you're selling, whenever you're foreclosing. It says you have to file this, and then 45 days later you can file something else, and then you have to wait 63 days and you can file a different document. A great attorney is on the 46th day they're filing the document. On the 64th day, they're filing the document. A bad attorney is not going to move until you kick him in the rear end. A bad attorney is going to make you come up with the legal route to go, or you're going to have to be the legal strategy. And believe me, it happens. You go talk to anybody who's investing in notes, and if you've been through 4 or 5 or 6 or 10 foreclosures, you know that, by your 4th or 5th one, you start thinking outside of the box, and you're having to tell your attorney, well, let's look at this strategy. I'm working with an attorney right now. I just had to do it.
Wow.
I just had to do it. I really like him. I think he's a good guy. But at the end of the day, we had a borrower pass away, and it was in an LLC. It's falling back into an estate, going through probate. There's nobody else in line, and this particular house is in Connecticut, and Connecticut is notoriously slow right now for processing foreclosures. So I said, why don't we do a deed in lieu? They don't want to have anything to do with it. See if they'll sign a deed in lieu. Boom, they're signing a deed in lieu of foreclosure. Awesome. So it works. It helps you navigate your way around.
It's also important, too, to actually know what the other lawyer is, right? The one that's defending.
Oh, yeah. That's a huge one. Is if you have a good attorney, they're going to know who the other attorney is. And there's some attorneys, especially in the state of Florida, they will fight tooth and nail, and they will pull all the dirty tricks out to help sustain the foreclosure and make it go on as long as possible. It almost makes it undoable. So, And the last one is make sure you have boots on the ground. you know, in the event that you get this house back, or maybe you don't, it's not even before you get the house back. Maybe you got to make sure the lawn is getting cut, or you got to change out the locks because the house is abandoned. You got to have boots on the ground, whether that's an asset preservation company or an actual real estate agent. We like to use real estate agents just because they typically are very localized to the area. They know people, and as something's starting to come through the foreclosure process, they can start lining up buyers on the other end. So that's really it. Those 5 things again are going to be, you want to know your value, you want to know the state's first value, know the title, have your attorney, and then make sure you have boots on the ground. So that's it. That's how you process a foreclosure. Those are the things to start thinking about up front. There's some other things in there like paperwork, but for a Snackable, those are just the high level stuff that I look at.
It's awesome. All right, so cool. We're going to be doing more like this, and so we'll see you on the next one. See ya.